Hi, welcome to the quiz. You can answer along on quizalto.com, all for free. The exact URL of this quiz will be in the notes down below. Let's get started, good luck. In AWS AppFabric, what is the purpose of AWS Quantum Ledger Database? To orchestrate serverless workflows. To provide a serverless, immutable ledger. To manage API keys. To handle serverless database transactions. AWS Quantum Ledger Database in AppFabric is a serverless, cryptographically verifiable ledger that provides a transparent, immutable, and centrally owned transaction log. In AWS AppFabric, what is the function of AWS DynamoDB? To orchestrate serverless workflows. To manage API keys for serverless apps. To provide a serverless NoSQL database service. To handle serverless function deployment. AWS DynamoDB within AppFabric is a serverless NoSQL database that delivers consistent, single-digit millisecond latency, making it ideal for serverless applications that require fast, flexible data storage. What is the role of AWS Direct Connect in AWS AppFabric? To handle API versioning. To manage serverless workflows. To provide dedicated network connections to AWS. To offer serverless message queuing. AWS Direct Connect in AppFabric establishes dedicated network connections from on-premises to AWS, ensuring stable and secure connectivity for serverless applications. What is the role of AWS CloudFormation in AWS AppFabric? To handle API versioning. To provide serverless message queuing. To provision serverless resources as code. To offer serverless content delivery. AWS CloudFormation in AppFabric enables infrastructure as code for serverless applications, allowing developers to define and provision all resources in a declarative template. Which AWS AppFabric service offers serverless email sending capabilities? AWS SQS. AWS EventBridge. AWS SES. AWS SNS. AWS Simple Email Service in AppFabric provides a serverless solution for sending transactional, marketing, or notification emails at scale without managing email servers. Which AWS AppFabric service is used for storing sensitive information securely? AWS Secrets Manager. AWS WAF. AWS Key Management Service. AWS IAM. AWS Secrets Manager in AppFabric allows secure storage and management of sensitive information like API keys, database credentials, and other secrets, integrating seamlessly with serverless functions. What is the purpose of AWS EventBridge in the AWS AppFabric ecosystem? To route events between AWS services, custom applications, and SaaS apps. To provide serverless message queuing. To manage serverless application deployment. To handle API versioning in serverless applications. AWS EventBridge in AppFabric acts as a serverless event bus, facilitating event-driven architectures by routing events between various AWS services, custom applications, and third-party SaaS providers. In AWS AppFabric, which service offers serverless application monitoring insights? AWS X-Ray. AWS CloudTrail. AWS Config. AWS CloudWatch. AWS X-Ray in AppFabric provides serverless application monitoring insights by tracing requests as they travel through various components, helping identify bottlenecks and errors. In AWS AppFabric, what is the purpose of AWS Key Management Service? To provide serverless workflow orchestration. To handle API versioning. To offer serverless message queuing. To manage encryption keys for serverless applications. AWS Key Management Service in AppFabric helps manage encryption keys used to secure data in serverless applications, ensuring data privacy and compliance. In AWS AppFabric, what is the role of AWS API Gateway? To orchestrate serverless workflows. To store and retrieve objects in a serverless manner. To handle serverless database transactions. To create, publish, and manage APIs for serverless applications. AWS API Gateway within AppFabric allows developers to create, publish, and manage RESTful APIs that act as the front door for serverless applications, handling authentication, rate limiting, and more. Which AWS AppFabric service is used for serverless workflow orchestration? AWS Lambda. AWS SQS. AWS Event Bridge. AWS Step Functions. AWS Step Functions in AppFabric enables the orchestration of complex, multi-step serverless workflows by visually defining the sequence of Lambda functions and other AWS services. Which AWS AppFabric service is used for serverless application monitoring? AWS Config. AWS CloudWatch. AWS CloudTrail. AWS X-Ray. AWS CloudWatch in AppFabric provides monitoring and observability for serverless applications, collecting metrics, logs, and events to give developers insights into performance and health. Which AWS AppFabric service provides a serverless data warehouse solution? AWS DocumentDB. AWS Aurora Serverless. AWS Redshift Serverless. AWS Neptune. AWS Redshift Serverless in AppFabric offers a fully managed, serverless data warehousing service that automatically scales to handle any analytical workload without infrastructure management. What is the function of AWS Control Tower in the AWS AppFabric ecosystem? To set up and govern multi-account AWS environments. To offer serverless graph database capabilities. To handle serverless stream processing. To manage serverless application deployment. AWS Control Tower in AppFabric provides a way to set up and govern a secure, compliant multi-account AWS environment, facilitating serverless application deployment at scale. In AWS AppFabric, which service offers serverless video transcoding? AWS Kinesis. AWS CloudFront. AWS AppSync. AWS Elemental Media Convert. AWS Elemental Media Convert in AppFabric provides serverless video transcoding, allowing applications to convert video files into formats optimized for streaming without managing encoding infrastructure. In AWS AppFabric, which service provides serverless contact center capabilities? AWS Comprehend. AWS Lex. AWS Poly. AWS Connect. AWS Connect in AppFabric offers a serverless, omnichannel contact center solution that scales on demand, allowing businesses to provide superior customer service without infrastructure management. In AWS AppFabric, what is the purpose of AWS SNS? To handle serverless database transactions. To manage API versioning. To orchestrate serverless workflows. To provide serverless pub/sub messaging. AWS Simple Notification Service in AppFabric offers serverless pub/sub messaging, enabling event-driven architectures by delivering messages to multiple subscribers simultaneously. In AWS AppFabric, which service is used for serverless stream processing? AWS SQS, AWS Kinesis, AWS Event Bridge, AWS Step Functions. AWS Kinesis in AppFabric provides serverless capabilities for real-time streaming data collection, processing, and analysis, enabling serverless applications to handle high-velocity data at scale. What is the function of AWS Shield in the AWS AppFabric stack? To handle serverless message queuing. To provide serverless content delivery. To manage serverless function deployment. To protect serverless apps from DDoS attacks. AWS Shield in AppFabric offers managed DDoS protection, safeguarding serverless applications, APIs, and other resources from volumetric and state exhaustion attacks. What is the role of AWS Detective in AWS AppFabric? To analyze security findings and identify root causes. To provide serverless message queuing. To handle API authentication. To offer serverless workflow orchestration. AWS Detective in AppFabric analyses security findings from guard duty and other sources to help identify the root cause of potential security issues in serverless applications. In AWS AppFabric, which service offers serverless anomaly detection? AWS Detective, AWS Macie, AWS Guard Duty, AWS Lookout for Metrics. AWS Lookout for Metrics in AppFabric is a serverless service that uses machine learning to detect anomalies in metrics, helping identify issues in serverless applications. Which AWS AppFabric service is used for serverless log analytics? AWS CloudWatch Logs Insights, AWS X-Ray, AWS Config, AWS CloudTrail. AWS CloudWatch Logs Insights in AppFabric provides serverless log analytics, allowing developers to interactively search and analyze log data from Lambda functions and other AWS services. In AWS AppFabric, which service offers serverless network connectivity? AWS Transit Gateway, AWS Direct Connect, AWS VPN, AWS Private Link. AWS Transit Gateway in AppFabric provides serverless network connectivity, allowing developers to connect VPCs, on-premises networks, and other AWS services in a hub-and-spoke model. Which AWS AppFabric service provides serverless text analytics? AWS Translate, AWS Comprehend, AWS Recognition, AWS Poly. AWS Comprehend in AppFabric offers serverless natural language processing capabilities, enabling applications to extract insights from text without managing machine learning models. What is the function of AWS AppStream 2.0 in the AWS AppFabric stack? To handle serverless message queuing. To manage serverless function deployment. To stream desktop applications to any device. To provide serverless content delivery. AWS AppStream 2.0 in AppFabric allows streaming of desktop applications to any device, enabling serverless app access without installing software locally. And that's a wrap. Thanks to everyone who participated. Remember, you can answer along on quizalto.com, where you can keep track of your progress and find much more quizzes. We hope you had a fun and challenging time. Until next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. Hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as we upload. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and if you think this video is worth sharing with someone who could benefit from it, please forward a link to them. See you next time. Thanks for watching.